name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Spore Druid, and she is just a little bit obsessed with mushrooms.
Hi, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. I'm a wildfire druid who's on a quest to be the very best there ever was.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I play Harry Harrington, the Harrengon, the roguish merchant with the heart of gold.
My name is Christian. I'm playing Bartholomew, the romantic dancing Owlin, Paladin of devotion.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be playing Niles Silverwind, the Owlin, Way of the Sympathy Monk.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I play the character of Threign, the boisterous frost giant, the Goliath, path of the giant Barbarian.
Hello there, lovely listener. This is just a warning to let you know that this episode of Return of the Giants may contain adult language or adult themes. Hello!
Hey.
Hello!
Hey.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Lost Archives. It is wonderful to see you all once again for our Return of the Giants, the premier 5th edition homebrew D&D campaign. We are ready. We are raring to go. We are almost all here. Ali is at the moment looking like she's not going to be able to join us. I think from the sounds of it, looks like she's feeling a bit under the weather. Hopefully she's having a bit of a nap, getting a bit of rest and recovery in. If she is feeling a bit more recovered, she'll come and join us partway through. I suspect, though, that she's going to need the time to recover. So I will play the character of Lyra tonight. We do have Jared with us. If you're listening to the podcast, you'll hear his dulcet tones. If you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, Jared's camera is being a little bit uncooperative tonight.
I will try and figure it out as we go, so they might see me halfway through. If not, I'm still here, ready to go, excited for the session.
Exactly. It couldn't have put it better. That is perfect. In terms of behind the, or like I guess like extra announcements to share behind the screen, nothing super crazy to share. Only a couple of updates for those who are massive Brandon Sanderson fans. The Cosmere TTRPG is just the gift that keeps on giving. The stretch goals that have been unlocked as a result of the huge amount of funding. I believe it is now the highest funded RPG ever on Kickstarter, and it is well on its way to actually becoming one of the highest funded projects on Kickstarter ever. It has now overtaken Avatar. So, once again, Brandon, I just salute you for your hard work and dedication and the incredible worlds you create. The stretch goals that have been coming out, I don't know if you saw the one today, but it's the shadowed one, which is a new type of fused we haven't seen in the books yet, which looks like a like the surge of illumination, I guess, a little bit, but like to do with being able to travel through shadow. It looks really cool. I am very, very excited to learn more about that. And the Void Light dice, did you see that, Matt?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
So there's all like special dice. They've got Stormlight and Lifelight. The Void Light dice were just unlocked, and they look incredible. They look so good. So I'm super excited for that. I guess that's Odium's Investiture, which will be sick.
Interesting.
So for those of you who are super big fans of the Cosmere and are excited for our playthrough, our campaign, it is coming. I am waiting for the full system to drop for the time being, just because our schedule's pretty chock-a-block with 3 campaigns a week, and work for me in the last little bit has increased in the expectations of my time and the burden on my time. 3 campaigns is already slightly too many for me to be managing. So we will not be adding a 4th anytime soon, unfortunately. So the Stormlight TTRPG will be waiting until we have a spare slot in our calendar to fill. Most likely that'll be taking the place of Avatar for a bit once we finish off Kyoshi. At this point, it's not going to be a super, super long Stormlight campaign. It's more going to be a chance for us to play around with the rules. The full version won't be out for a number of months at this stage, so we'll be probably working with the Quick Start Guide or with the Early Release Guide. And it'll be aiming for a slightly shorter series to take place after we finished off Legend of Kyoshi, or the Legacy of Kyoshi. Once we get back into our full version of Avatar again, because we obviously will have a follow-up to our Embers of War campaign. Probably I'll be doing a longer series to take place after Curse of Strahd, because Curse of Strahd, we're sort of getting into the last, I'd say, I'm not going to make a guess on how many episodes, because every time I make a guess on episodes, I'm way off, but we're getting into like the last 40%, 30% of the campaign. So probably we'll have our main long series of Stormlight Archive series take place after Curse of Strahd is all finished. That is all the fun announcements I have to share behind the scenes. Any other fun? Oh, we have to give a happy birthday to Christian. We did give you a happy birthday last week, but we will give you another one today. Happy birthday for a couple of days ago. And can you show us really quickly? Someone did some really cool and very, very realistic artwork of you. Do you have it handy to show us?
Which one?
I think you know which one we want to see.
So there was like a paint and sip, and everyone wanted, my partner wanted everyone to do a rendition of myself in like a fantasy theme. Some people didn't know fantasy, so they just did like anime, and someone did me as a Titan, which was lovely. The pose is just horrific. They made sure they gave me a chunky ass.
It's important. It's very important.
That's
Actually, it looks quite realistic, to be honest.
She's an art teacher, so she tried her best in the limited amount of time with the crappy resources we had. But it was a lot of fun.
Pretty outstanding, and
they.
Yeah, pretty outstanding work. They did an awesome job on that. That's I love that as a way of like, it's your birthday. I got to draw some art of you. All right, time to fuck you up, bitch. It's quite fun to do someone as a Titan from Attack on Titan. I don't know if my mind would have gone there straight away. As I said before, when you said fantasy theme, my first thought was 2 kobolds in a trench coat. That's what I was going to do. If it was me, I would have drawn you as 2 kobolds in a trench coat for sure. But I got to say, the Attack on Titan looks sick. It's so good.
I have a question, Christian. Was there like did you have to like stand in front of them, or was there a reference?
He was on the ground making that pose, right?
Yeah,
like it was still after it. Yeah. Yeah.
We were all sitting down at like just a long sort of like Last Supper-esque table. And so it was just
I do remember that from the Last Supper, as Jesus was breaking the bread, you like crawled over the table and like took some.
No, they all so they were all painting me while I was like, because I was doing it as well. I wasn't just going to sit there posing for everyone. So every time I looked up to grab a different color and have some fun while I was doing mine, I just had weird stares in the dark. It was a really creepy experience.
Amazing.
It's pretty incredible.
It's a great idea.
It is. It's a really, really cool idea. Massive props to your partner, Christian. That's a great idea for a.
She did a lot of work. It was, I'm very lucky.
Also, that I think that's a fantastic behind the scenes to finish up. Unless there's any other announcements we have to share, otherwise I'll jump into the recap. No, Dave's looking happy. Simon's looking happy.
Good.
Matt's looking like he's frothing at the mouth for the Cosmere TTRPG.
Oh, I am.
Mate, have you read through some of the systems?
I have, but I haven't read through any of the latest news.
The attracting a spren and actually bonding a spren is so cool.
It's really good.
It looks so good. If it's not obvious to anyone, I am absolutely beyond excited. The Stormlight Archive is my favorite series. I've been reading the chapters of Wind of Truth that Brandon's been putting up online for free. Oh my god, if you haven't read those already, Matt, you need to read them. Chapters 1 through 9 are up for free. You can just go read them. And he's releasing a chapter, I think it's every week until the book comes out, and it's just up online. Wow. Is it every week? It can't be every week. That's too much. I think it's every week. It's Brandon. Damn. Like it's gonna be over the top for sure. But yeah.
And man's pretty busy.
He must have clones, right? Like
he has to.
Yeah. Or a lot of interns locked in a cellar.
That's probably more likely.
No, but it's too consistent. We've discussed this before. I know you and I have had a discussion about this. His work is too consistently good for it to be anything other than him. Like the stuff he keeps, it's incredible.
You know, also just incrementally better than his previous. So it's like he's just getting better.
Yeah,
that trajectory is just wild.
He's a god among men, Brandon Sanderson. And if there's ever a chance that you're watching this, Brandon, I would love for you to come and play with us in our Stormlight Archive TTRPG. I would love for you to come and play character. I know you play D&D. I know you like D&D, and I know that your very first character, you tricked the rest of your party into believing that you were a level 20 wizard when you were in fact a level 1 illusionist, and you derailed the entire campaign while the rest of the party tried to like help you regain your lost wizard levels that you never had in the first place. So you should come join us. You know, as a DM, I would have supported that fully. And I'm certainly not doing that with any one of the players here. Let's jump into our session. So let me do our recap, and we will jump straight back into the action. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, has formed a brand new team. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember, Threign, and newcomer Bartholomew are exploring the vast caverns of the Underdark. Drawn below by rumours of stone giants taking over territory, it has come to light that the Duergar are providing the stone giants with slaves as part of a massive mining operation. The team are currently assisting the gnomes of Blindenstone, the last city stronghold of the Sverfnibelin. Discovering a massive draconic monstrosity called a Behir having taken up residence in the fortress, the team launched an attack, emerging victorious from a brutal battle. Using necromancy, the team learned the Behir had been working with the stone giants, set to guard the seemingly abandoned fortress after it had been raided. With Harry deciding to try and use his Heartstone to see if his patron had more information regarding this, the team learned that following Harry's near-death experience, Bart was now also connected to this mysterious entity. After speaking with Figment briefly, Bart found himself developing a theory as to the true nature of this being, but kept his cards close to his chest for the time being. Before making their way into the deeper caverns occupied by the Duergar and the Stone Giants, the team split up to continue their investigation into the current situation at Blindenstone. Lyra, Harry, and Threign stayed with the body of the Behir, carving off its skin to try and make some cloaks for the party, and finding the remains of a high-ranking deep dwarf in its stomach. Meanwhile, Niles, Bart, and Ember headed over to talk to the gnomes, learning more about the attack of the Duergar and Stone Giants. Interestingly, it seems the fortress had been suffering from troubles prior to this, King Shintley having become strangely paranoid, forcing curfews and driving away his supporters, possibly displaying signs of madness. The cause of this madness was located not long after. While searching for some diamonds required for his spellcasting, Ember stumbled upon a broken crystal construct which emanated a wave of fear when accidentally activated. Reunited, the group began to prepare for the evening's rest. Niles and Bart decided to use this moment of quiet to share the dark secrets they had been carrying, that the Eris Theocracy had been born from a conquering force of Owlin and Aarakocra, who had first taken control of the elemental plane of air. With the beginnings of a plan to replace the leader of Eris as a way of preventing future bloodshed now under discussion, sleep came slowly to the party. But when it did come, the group found themselves once again immersed in a giant dream, this time travelling deep below the earth in the company of stone giants. Taking the opportunity of travel to question their guides, the team learned this dream seemed to be taking place before their most recent experiences, their giant echoes appearing to be travelling to the stone giant city of Ton Tenu, the Stone Teeth, to present the details of a treaty to Elder Hunmar. Bart took a moment of distraction on this journey to share with Harry his suspicions regarding Figment, that he was in fact a fragment of their giant god Anam. Arriving in the centre of the city, the team stepped out onto an enormous stone circle, marked with runes traced around the circumference, standing before an enormous stone sphere. Tracing the runes, the two stone giant guides awakened an enormous creature seemingly made of rock, a spirit of stone guarding the giants of the deep. Emerging from the sphere, Elder Hunmar approached the party, revealing the giant echo Harry was inhabiting was in fact his son. The discussion around the signing of the treaty was initially rather tense, Elder Hunmar resistant to the idea of working with the surface world. But the team were able to slowly change his mind, Bart pushing for Hunmar to connect with Harry's Heartstone to experience the truth of the surface. This did not go how the team planned, however. Hunmar's shape twisted and warped into a form of metal and shadow, and grabbing Harry by the hand, the figure examined Harry's Heartstone and called out, "I found you." Realizing this entity might not be friendly, the team leapt to Harry's defense, allowing him to escape to the back of the group while the rest of the party took on the shadowy figure. Revealing itself as Animus, another giant construct similar to Figment, the entity attempted to overwrite the Stone Guardian to fight the party. Harry responded instead by channeling his magic into the Guardian, allowing Figment to take control and turn the tide of the battle. Despite dealing some hefty damage, Animus was soon overwhelmed, allowing Figment to draw upon its core and take some of its powers in controlling these giant dreams. We left off last session as the team prepared to revisit the dream, Figment rewinding the memory back to the moment before the arrival of Animus. And that is where we left off last session, and we are going to jump straight back in. As the form of Figment slowly fades away, disappearing into the background. You watch as the memory plays backwards in reverse. The figure of Elder Hunmar reforming and then walking backwards up back into the stone sphere, disappearing inside once again. The two giant guides reappearing back, having sunk into the stone, reappearing back up and bowing before the Stone Guardian before tracing the runes that awoke it. She watches the Stone Guardian sinks back in. Sound is reversed as well. You hear the momentary conversations and the sound of the echoes throughout the corridors, the city of stone, Tontanur, creating this very weird acoustic effect, this reverberation bit in reverse. As you get closer to the moment you arrived, I think, Harry, you specifically said to Figment you wanted to go from the moment you arrived. I think that was because Bart... you'd wanted to redo your interaction with the Stone Guardian, correct?
I wanted to follow in suit of Niles and Harry, because me and Harry.
Yeah.
I think Harry wanted. Go on.
Is Harry a daughter or a son?
A child. Stone Giant. I think we went over a little bit. The Stone Giant genders aren't quite as dimorphic as they are for lots of other races. So there's.
Snails.
What was that? Sorry, Harry.
Snails. No, it wasn't snails. It was more like seahorses, right? Which one was it?
Clownfish, I think, was the one we went for, is that can switch their genders. But hey, look, snails, a little bit off. Seahorse is way closer. And to be fair, like, I would say I can see how you made that connection, seeing as the male seahorses have the pouch that like looks after the babies. So 100%, like you're getting pretty close, man. That was pretty good. I think some snails are hermaphroditic too, so you're probably right with that too. But yeah, so we'll basically as you get closer to the point when you first arrived, the rewinding of time seems to slow, and right as it gets to that point, time pauses for a moment. Yes, Harry.
Can I make it more specific to right after Harry interacts with the spiritual guardian? Because I think he rolled quite high for that interaction. So Harry specifically wants to take it to like right after he greeted the stone, and then
but before Bart did. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. In that case, then it doesn't quite go as far back. It rewinds to the two stone guides, tracing the runes, activating the Stone Guardian. The Stone Guardian rising from the center of this dais, and the two stone giants then taking a knee. As all of you stand before the Stone Guardian, as it rises above you, time. The rewind pauses, slows, stops. And then time begins anew. Immediately, as if it had never happened. All of what had occurred, gone. No more signs of it. You watch as the Stone Guardian stands above you. Harry, at this moment you have just bowed before it and made an attempt to try and... I think you tried to not connect with it with your Heartstone, but you tried to sort of like bow before it and get a bit of an understanding of what it was. So that is where this moment kicks off. Ember, Bart, Lyra, Threign, and Niles. You watch as Harry drops down to his knees, mirroring the Stone Giant, the two Stone Giant guides that are next to you, dropping down onto his knees. And that same pattern you've seen the Stone Giants perform as a mark of respect before this. Hand on the forehead, covering the eyes, and then on the chest, before bowing down on one knee. I pass over to all of you. What do you do?
I'll follow suit, as should have been done originally, and come up to the Guardian and do the same thing, sort of go to touch my forehead and chest in that same pattern, and get down on one knee.
You watch as the Stone Guardian stands above you, watch as you perform this. The angular stone head, the creature is sort of vaguely bipedal and vaguely humanoid in shape, but it has two sets of arms and this very like angular cracked head that like it looks like it has pulled itself free of the stone. As the Stone Guardian looks down towards you, Bart, it considers you for a moment and then bows its head, same as it did to Harry. As it looks towards the rest, yes, Niles?
I do have a question. Just with the Guardian. This is going to be strange, because I'm just thinking, like, this doesn't look like anything that we would have ever seen, like, ever, on the surface, right?
This does not look like anything you've seen on the surface. To your immediate perception, would you like to make me an Arcana or a History check, Niles?
As Niles or Sindaris?
Oh, good question. You're referring to knowledge that Niles has, not Sindaris, so this would be a Niles check. Good call.
Absolutely. And that would be, sorry, what roll?
History or Arcana, your choice. Yeah, when you're rolling as your giant, you roll as your giant. When you're rolling as your sort of meta characters.
Could I do one for Bartholomew, as I'm one of the few party members that has been in the Underdark? Not knowledge about this thing. We've already sort of experienced that this thing doesn't belong in our day and age, almost like dinosaurs. But I want to just see, like, if I recognize ever seeing even just like designs of it in our era, whether it's through the stone giant furnaces that I was working in, or with the Duragar, Blindenstone, any sort of depictions of it, like maybe to indicate that we've been close to it but just not realized. Like,
you're gonna have to
Niles,
really rely on that roll.
That's a 0.
I rolled a 0.
That's a 0.
That's a natty 1.
Too bad.
Natural 1 minus 1. Yeah, Niles, as you look at this thing, all you can feel is this has to be some sort of golem. Surely, as you look at it, it's some sort of, this is just a really big stone golem. Nothing special about this. This is the runes and the mumbo jumbo that the stone giants were doing. That was just some sort of activation sequence for a big old stone golem. This is nothing special. It's pretty big. You'll give them that, but they're giants. I mean, it's not going to be small, is it? That's your 0. Bartholomew, history check. 17. As you look at this enormous creature carved of stone, you know that this actually isn't this creature's real form. This is merely something that it is inhabiting. In fact, as you watched as those runes were activated, you saw this strange spiral of energy move into the center of the ground, sink into the ground, and then this enormous stone creature pulled itself free. This is just a shell, maybe like some sort of carapace that arthropods have. Rather than growing its shell, rather than having it be made of chitin, whatever this creature is, creates its shell, its carapace out of stone, out of the materials around it, out of inorganic structures. You know that the real creature is some sort of spiritual entity, maybe similar to like a ghost or similar to like a specter or a phantom, but not from a dead creature, not a leftover soul or a corrupted soul. This seems a little bit more, almost, but a little bit like some sort of primordial spirit. Rare in Nostea, but not unheard of. With a 17, the Liang clan keep detailed notes of interesting information coming through the Aarakocra Messenger Guild. And part of your expectations before you were somewhat ostracized by your family, part of the expectations on you were to help sort through some of the information, to understand what is and isn't important, could further the goals of the Eris theocracy. You heard reports coming in far towards the southeast, not too far from the borders of Chiari, slightly north of the continent of Chiari. When the moon is full and the tide is high, an enormous water spout forms every single time at high tide with the full moon, travels up and forms a globe of water high in the air. It stays there until the sun rises again before it splashes back down in the water. Theories are this is some remains of a primordial spirit, some sort of primordial ocean spirit, fulfilling some pattern that it has been doing for thousands of years. There are primordial spirits left, but not many on Nostea. You are immediately struck with the theory that this is likely similar. This stone guardian is probably a primordial spirit of Earth. I would say as well, all of you know that the primordials, the original primordial spirits of Nostea, after the arrival of many of the other races, belief in them allowed them to become gods. It was all of the gods except for Anam on Nostea are, I guess, technically ex-primordial spirits that have taken on divine roles. Even the betrayer gods were once primordial spirits.
I have another question, more for the
Nice.
lore of the world. So this is a little bit meta, maybe, but is the common belief of Nostea that Anam created the world from scratch, or did it exist beforehand?
It's well known because the elves and dragons obviously were around during the time of giants. The elves, dragons, and dwarves. So there were 3 Eldar races that were there during the time of giants, and they picked up some of the giant mythology because obviously they arrived on Nostea long after the giants had been there for millennia. And the giant myths and legends about Nostea were that Anam created this planet, this world, all by himself and filled it with his people, the first giants. The other gods didn't appear until after the other races arrived. The first one being Bahamut, who came with the dragons.
Interesting.
So at this point, in this giant echo which you're living in, there is only one god, and that is Anam. While you're in this giant echo, there are no other gods, which means that there's probably a lot more primordial spirits about.
Interesting.
Ember, Threign, Lyra, Niles, do you guys bow before this thing, or just keep a watch on it? It doesn't seem to be paying the same level of attention to the rest of you as it did to Harry and Bart.
I do not bow to anyone.
Fair enough.
Wouldn't be either, considering that I missed the initial interaction. I came in late. Like, the
Oh!
idea of doing any of this to me is just, especially as the giant form.
This is new to you,
I don't
because you
think that-
came in once you saw your companions in pain and in discomfort, which was much later. So for you, this is rewound to before you first arrived in this dream. So this is all new for you. Whereas the others seem to be going along with this like it's they know what's happening. Ember, none of them have explained this to you, and it's all brand new. So yeah, you just stand before this enormous creature made of stone. The creature that a moment ago was like frozen in time before Animus tried to take control, and then finally Figment took control of it. Like, you've seen the damage this creature can do. It's fucking scary.
Yeah, so I'd probably be doing the same as Threign. I don't think I'd be bowing to it, but yeah.
I think Niles will probably play along as Sindaris, and also not necessarily bow the same way that the Stone Giants did, but do a customary bow.
Yeah, you're a storm giant, aren't you, Niles? Because Lyra is playing the cloud giant. Yeah. Niles. There's something in you. This sensation, this resistance. People bow to you, Niles. So I'd say it's a mark of maybe a nod of the head, or maybe
it's a cursory nod of the head. It's not like it's a full on appeasement of these creatures.
Perfect.
It's more just like a kind of a more casual nod.
Brilliant. The stone guardian, this enormous creature made of stone, looks over Harry and Bart, and this time both of you feel this sense of connection, this sense of welcoming and invitation flowing out from this creature. For a moment, you feel your heartstones warm on the backs of your hands as this entity sends across this emotion to you. The emotion of sanctuary, of safety, of returning home. And you feel this fill you completely. This sense of almost longing being swept away as you feel comfort. And then you watch, this time, as the enormous stone guardian sinks back into the stone, disappearing from sight. Well, there's no reason for it to be around if there's nothing suspicious about the behavior of the stone giants, if it feels the connection. As it sinks back into the ground, you watch as your 2 stone giant guides next to you slowly stand and then look up towards the enormous stone sphere hovering just above the dais. The opening, this shadowed portal into the center of the sphere, shines for a moment with this soft greenish, almost greenish yellow light. And then emerging from inside, you see the familiar figure of Elder Hunma, this older stone giant. Carvings across his bald head and down his side forming these intricate patterns carved into his skin. And as he glides across the stone, over the platform and down towards you, this time, there is no sense of hostility radiating from him. Instead, as he approaches and sees Harry and Bart standing before him along with the 2 stone giant guides and the stone guardian nowhere to be seen, he pauses as he reaches the bottom, looking across all of the guests. Welcome. Welcome to Tontanur. Honored guests, citizens of Tontanur. It's my son. Come. It has been too long, my child. Embrace me. As Elder Hunmar walks towards you, Harry, he reaches out to give you a cuddle.
Oh man, Harry embraces this. He's so into it.
This is the second time you've had this hug, and it's just as good. It's just as good as the second time, Harry. As you feel.
Oh, I think this one's even better.
Maybe it is. I mean, in this moment, right, you're feeling the emotions of Utnir, your giant echo. Utnir loves his father. Hunmar loves his child. There is a deep connection here. You were sent to the surface. You were chosen specifically because of your deep connection with your parent. And as your father, as Hunmar hugs you, he steps back, hands on your shoulders. Your time on the surface. What have you learned, my child?
Well, we've learnt that, the father, it's good to see you. Sorry, I'm just so overwhelmed.
It is good to see you too, Utnir. You are a welcome sight back home again. Back in the true world, away from the dream above. It's good to see you awake once more.
Yeah, no, it's good to be awake. But the dream isn't as bad. It's not as foreign as I first thought when I left. The dream is also a place that people live, giants such as ourselves. They live in the sun.
Yes, we know this, my boy. The world above is a dream. An arm meant for us to be below.
They truly thrive in this environment, and they've reached out and asked and want us, the Stone Giants, to be part of a union with them.
You watch as Hunmar slowly turns and examines his guests once more. As he meets eyes with you, Bartholomew, he gives you a nod. You sense almost a gratitude there. You have kept his son safe, his child safe, and you have both returned. As he looks over Ember, Niles, Threign, and Lyra, you see a dismissiveness there. I mean, Niles, you're an honored guest from the Storm Giants. Threign is Ulfric Jarl, leader of the Frost Giants. And this elder has not given you the proper respect. He has looked at you, sort of, yeah, and then walked right past to talk to his son first, his child first. This would be a bit of an insult with other clans, but you know somehow that this isn't necessarily. Yeah, you feel that link to your giant echo, and I guess also given that you've also just lived through this before, this is now you're redoing this dream again. You know that this is how they think, the Stone Giants. They don't believe that the surface world is real, that the people who live there are real, that anything that happens above is real. It's all just a dream, an illusion, a distraction from what is true. But you watch as Hunmar examines you and goes, "You have come into the waking world. Perhaps you will awaken yourselves while you are down here. Join the true children of Inam."
What is this truth that you speak of, this awakening? Is it something that can be experienced while we reside here in your kingdom?
It is rare for those not of the Stone Giant clan to find themselves endarkened by their time below. Find themselves seeing the truth of this world. They have too many ties to the dream, too many ties to the distractions from above. But it is not unheard of. There are some giants here who are not born stone giants, not born into this clan. Giants who have come to us from the world above, from the dream, and found themselves awake.
Truly? Giants from above?
Yes, there are some who have come through. Legends and history, our stories tell us. There is only one with us currently. One who has come to accept our ways and join us below.
Might I ask who this giant is?
Indeed. This was originally a member of the Hill Giant clan, but they found themselves wandering below. They have joined us as a stone giant, as a member of our clan and our family. They reside here, in Ton Tanur, city of teeth. Stone teeth.
Some might say that your dismissal of the outside world, a world rightfully created by man, is problematic.
Anan creates both what is real and what is not. What is below
that may
is
be
real.
So. But you are certainly those who are grounded in reality and truth. That I will give you credit for amongst your people.
You show unprecedented respect from a member of the Storm Giant clan. We are used to resistance when your people meet with ours. Perhaps there is a conversation we may have.
I think there may be differing opinions, differing beliefs, perhaps, and some of my kind may think ill of those who reside below, but I agree. I would not come here simply to seek out simple politics when there are much larger things to discuss, such as the signing of this declaration, which, might I add, the Storm Giants have already put their name towards.
A declaration. Tell me more. What do the Storm Giants believe should happen?
King Bjorn believes that the Giants should unite under a common cause, a banner, something that we could all get behind.
But why should we ally ourselves with a dream? What does it matter? What your world above does? It is not real. It does not have bearing on our lives. Why should we care?
King Bjorn believes that we should all be connected. You would represent us as the giant race being grounded to our origins, to what this may be. You could circumnavigate the so-called dream with your grounded wisdom and provide us truth when we perhaps see ill.
Lord. And I'm going
Elder is enough. I am no lord. We have no kings down here.
Whatever the fucking title he goes by is.
Your stone
that you're talking about.
Your stone giant probably wouldn't necessarily get that wrong, but I mean, you're in control. So as you say that, you feel inside that was insulting. For some reason, calling him a lord, not a good call. You don't know why, but there's something about that wasn't good.
Try to repeat the same thing I did last time and extend my Heartstone so he can connect his and try to show him those emotions of King Bjorn, same as what we did in the previous timeline.
You show me dreams. You show me signs from above. It is not real. It looks pretty. It is distracting. It is beautiful, of course. A dream should be. But it is not real. Show me something real in the world above.
the King Bjorn that he speaks of, if any were to be close to awakening, just like the hill giants above, it would be him. Once he awakens, does that not mean that he is real? The same as the hill giant that stays with us now?
You think this King Mion, the current leader of the Storm Giants, you think he is capable of living down here, away from the dream, away from destruction, to give up his crown? You think that is likely? I think not.
I know not if he would do it, but I think he is capable. The purpose of this treaty is so that if any more of our kind, just like your child, wish to travel above for their own reasons or entertainment or to experience the dreaming, they can. And if those that are in the dreaming, like King Bjorn or others, wish to awaken, they can do that as well. Both of us sharing our love of Anam and his different creations.
Make me a persuasion check as your giant. You may have advantage on this because you and Niles together have been doing a pretty good job of convincing him. While you're doing this, Ember and Threign, you watch as Elder Hunmar turns towards you, looking at Frost and Fire Giant standing side by side. And you watch him furrow his brow in deep confusion as he looks at the two of you standing next to each other, quite happily, quite calmly. Maybe even
do not confuse, we're not friends.
Shaking their head. We've already fought once, I believe. Oh, kind of.
Oh, I punched you in the face.
That's right.
It is surprising. So what? Frost and Fire will not sign this treaty? Only Storm. And you come to Stone Giants next.
Just because I said we are not friends does not mean we do not want the same thing. We are all here. We all see the purpose of this. So, I guess the Fire is also in the same boat. We're here to see this out, see this through, see what vision the King has for all of us. We owe him that much, at least.
Tis curious. I know not much of the dream, but I know your names, both of you. Eldia, Ulfric. Tales of your ferocity have made their way down to the deep. Yet you travel with my son as allies. This is good. You keep him safe from the nightmares that stalk the dreaming up above. Yeah?
Well, I mean, we keep each other safe, but
we do work together. We the Storm, the Ice, everyone. We're trying to make this work as best we can, even with Ice.
I will fight by his side, but if he is too weak to fend for himself, he's on his own. Sorry, I do not mean to show you this disrespect, but I will be there
but
for
I'll
him
do it.
as need be.
But I'll do it anyway.
But yes, he's on his own too. He goes there knowing what is there. But there is also creatures down here too that I know for a fact are also scary. Not scary per se, but challenging. If he can fend for himself down here, I'm sure he'll be fine up there. Do not fret. He is with us as well. And I will say this. I know you do not believe in the dreaming up there, but every single scar I have shows you just how real they are up there. Do not discredit up top, for life is here, down below, and also up top.
Which is
We'll come to see
Hunmar
this one day.
slowly nods. Christian, you get to roll with advantage because of Niles' help. So 14 for the first, but you may roll again. 3.
-1 with this stone is.
We'll take the
nice.
14, eh? We'll take the 14 for Ettringer. Ettringer, as you show what you've seen from the world above, you watch as Hunma slowly nods. I was worried that my child, my envoy, had been corrupted by their time above, had been brought into the dream, convinced that it is not, that it is beautiful and wonderful. I am not convinced that has not yet happened, but I do see your belief in this King Myon. And I trust you, my son. Trust you. You were sent to represent us, to see what the dreaming had to do. You have returned. It would be unwise to not heed your counsel. This treaty, what would it have? What would it have me do on behalf of my people? What am I signing here?
Can we pull out the treaty?
Yeah.
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 Sindaris will do the same thing he did and sort of unfurl the treaty from his heartstone, like he did in the capsule before.
What a show off! All he can do is do stuff with paper. Does not do anything with actual proper weapons or anything like that.
It's not paper. You watch as Niles' heartstone, currently in the form of Corius.
Yeah,
What's your storm giant's name again? Sorry, Niles. Is it Corius?
Sindaris.
Corius is Lyra's. Sorry, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, Corius is Lyra's.
Yeah.
As you place your hand on your heartstone and pull it free, you watch as this almost like illusionary, this light begins to form around it as it creates this beautiful flowing script in the air that solidifies before forming a stone tablet, a grey slate that lights up with signatures. You watch. What was that?
Just quickly, does the stone tablet indicate, like, does it have like a declaration or any sort of like outline of what it is, or is it simply just signatures?
It's made of this like sort of like dark purple obsidian, and Sindaris, it just has the space for signatures. There's no lines of any code. But you watch as Hunma steps up and places his hand upon it and closes his eyes, and as he does so, you watch as the heartstone on his hand begins to pulse for a second, and as he takes his hand away, closes it for a moment, and then looks and goes, "This alliance, you would have the stone giants as your makers. You would have us construct to pool our skills together to help enrich both the dreaming and the waking world. This King Myon, he has a silver tongue. Yet I find myself believing in his dream. What sickness is this that you bring below? This dream that infects us, makes us believe in it. This is dangerous. This is not what we are meant to do."
Do you call that hope of something? Why are you so scared of it?
We follow the teachings of Anam. We make below, in the place assigned to us, construct in the dark. That is what the stone giants are for. The world above is not real. It is a dream.
Well,
but you have brought this down, and now I feel myself caring about this place above, hearing the words of King Myon, even just
King
recorded.
If I may, you speak.
Elder, not king.
Elder. Let me write that back in my notes so I do not forget. It was meant to be Elder. Elder Huma.
Show him proper respect, storm giant.
Of course, Ulfric.
Please, that's my dad.
I forget. I forget myself under such circumstances.
Sorry, Matt. I just love being a dick with this character.
I'm getting Emmerich vibes.
Emmerich was a bit too manic though. This guy has more of like a.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit.
I mean, you're just like Threign times 10 as Ulfric.
Well, yeah. Well, Threign's in Ulfric's shoes. His pride just swells at his chest.
Every single characteristic of Threign's times 10 because you're Ulfric.
Pretty much.
That's pretty sick. Anyway, no. Sindaris just says, "If I may, Elder Hunma, you speak true. The stone giants have built great civilizations beneath the deep." And I sort of gesture towards the city. The King Bjorn would wish to see your creations push out towards our world. Would you not want to share your creations with the rest of your so-called dreaming? Perhaps you could bring your awakened life and your awakened state beyond what is just simply kept below here. Would that not be something that you would wish to share? It seems against the will of Anam to keep it hidden and trapped amongst the depths.
Very good, Matt. Very nicely argued. You watch as Hunma slowly nods. You can see him wavering. He pauses.
I'm going to push him over the edge.
Oh. You just walk up, shove him, and then he drops over the edge of the...
Regicide.
Harry, when you're king, you can sign it. We don't have to worry about this bullshit.
Having a much higher wisdom as Etringer, as well as which Bart does not have, having the ability to actually have some pretty good insight, as well as I would like to think Etringer, from the sounds of it, knowing Elder Hunma pretty well.
Seems he knows of you, yeah, definitely.
In a bit more of this sort of quiet, stoic persona that I'm putting off this time, rather than the frustrated, tortury that was the last timeline. Elder, he is not like Balak. He is not like his father. I'm just going to whisper that as Sindaris is trying to convince him.
Nicely done, because that was knowledge that you gained from the last time you played this through. The fact that one of the reasons Hunma didn't trust King Mjorn was because of his father, a conqueror who, was violent and tried to unite the giant tribes underneath the boot of stone giant leadership. Yeah, as you whisper that, you see those last cracks of resistance open wide. Hunma nods. But instead of saying anything, you watch as he turns towards Utnir, his son. Places a hand upon your shoulder, Harry, and then brings his forehead in against yours. He takes in a deep breath and then sighs. He steps back and looks you in the eyes. My son, I sent you away to grow and to learn. I wanted you to see more of this place and to understand the temptations of the dreaming. But it seems that you have brought back learning for me, lessons for me to learn. I will sign this treaty with this King Mjorn. As Etringer says, he does not seem like his father. It was a fear of mine that he was another conqueror, this time trying to hide behind honeyed words. But it seems to be deeper than that. I find myself believing in this madness, a united people. It would be interesting to see the giant clans united under one council, this owl thing. I must admit, I am intrigued by it. A council where all members of each tribe are represented. I do notice, however, it is presided over by King Mjorn. It seems the storm giant arrogance, desire to lead, is hard to squash. But maybe in the future, we can have a chance to rewrite this owl thing to be more equitable for all of the tribes. Something we cannot do if we are not part of it. I will sign. You may take this treaty back to King Leon and tell him the stone giants will be willing to participate in this unified attempt. I pray that this is what Anam wants for us. We are going against centuries of tradition, centuries of teaching. But Anam is a maker. Anam is a god who creates. This is making something new. I think Anam would approve. And therefore,
Father,
so do I.
I think so too. We are just one tribe of many, and how we feel awake here and dreaming up there. I mean, spending time up there has opened my eyes that to those up there, that they feel awake up there and dream down here. And if this can build that bridge between us giants as a race and build and create as Anam wants, I think this is definitely the right choice, Father. Let's enter this together and let's work on this together.
Indeed. I must agree. When wisdom shows itself so plainly, is a fool who stands his ground and disagrees with it.
It's wisdom I learned from you, Father.
Utnir, my son, you are humble. This is good. It will do you well when you take over leadership of this tribe. Come, present me with
that
this
day is
treaty.
very far away, Father. Let's do it. Let's sign this.
Miles, as you present the slate, you watch as Hunmar holds out his hand, presses it against the stone before drawing it back, swirling in a series of patterns. Light follows his finger as it dances across the surface of the slate, forming a series of swirls, which, as he pulls his finger back, he then presses into single dots, and you watch as Hunmar carves his signature into the slate, not just into the light illusion that is summoned above it, but into the slate itself, changing its shape to put his stone giant text, his braille name, basically, carving it into the slate itself. Probably a bit extra, but hey, it's a grand gesture. I mean, it's there digitally as well, but you watch as he carves it into the slate as an extra level of respect. For both Harry and for Bart, you know this is actually an important part of Stone Giants. When something is carved into stone, when it is done in that form, when something has been made, it has to be physical. The Stone Giants don't see this illusionary technology, this magitech that the Giants have been working on, that the Storm Giants have been distributing. They don't see it as real. Has to be carved as well. And Hunmar shows quite a great deal of respect for the dreams that have come below, the waking world that has come below, by carving his name into this. You would both know instinctually that no contract made with a stone giant and a non-stone giant means anything. You're a dream. They can do what they want. If they sign the contract, it doesn't mean anything. This is different. This feels different.
And to put things into consideration, to be honest, from the sounds of it, what I'm gathering is that his son didn't go up there to bring a deal down. His son went up there to experience the dreaming. He's come down with a deal with a bunch of random people, and this elder has agreed to sign for it and his people with a conversation that took about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, even if he's being a little...
We get shit done.
To deal with. Yeah.
To be fair, you don't know exactly what the terms of this treaty are. I would say that from what you've seen so far, it seems that it's more about the setting up of this council, of this oath thing. It's literally, it's not that expansive. It seems like this is just an agreement to participate in the oath thing. All of the other levels of bureaucracy are coming later. This is more just we will meet on this day at this time. We will not launch an attack. It will be in peaceful terms. We'll meet at this location and we will send a representative who will be our representative at the Owl thing. And that person will speak on behalf of our people. They will be our representative. It seems like it's mostly that. It's basically the beginnings of a treaty. It's not like a full-blown agreement yet. This is still very early days. And I would say that you guys have kind of picked up on this at this point. As Hunma nods and steps back, you watch as the world begins to fade, the colors draining away into grayscale. But the dream doesn't end. Instead, you watch as time begins to speed up, figures moving around rapidly, blurring out until you can't even see the motion of them anymore. But you do see the city behind you. You see it, at first, continuing to expand and grow. New spires growing from the ceiling and from the ground, meeting to form these enormous stalagmites and stalactites, carved of stone and rock. And then they begin to shrink, crumbling away. From the outskirts first, and then deeper and deeper, as the city begins to shrink away. Under your feet, you watch as the dais, beautifully carved and cared for, begins to crack and crumble. The runes...
Wait, is the dream ending?
It looks like it's speeding up in time. It looks like you're watching time speed up. So the dream sort of faded to grayscale for a second, and then time slowly began to increase in speed, quicker and quicker and quicker.
I was going to ask a question before this happened.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. Do you want? I'm happy to pause a second. Did you want to ask a question?
I wanted to ask, just as the signature had been signed, I wanted to sort of just toss a very absent-minded question, almost like a hypothetical to the king.
Yeah.
And say something along the lines of now that this signature has been made, what do you foresee for the Stone Giants now or in the future? Great castles or other structures or other things? What do you have in store?
Great works, creations that rival anything we have made in the past, creations that will make Anam proud. I dream of a world built by these hands of the Stone Giant clan, both in the waking and the dream.
Then we shall see it done. And then cue.
Yeah, and again, at first the city grows. You watch as new spires are constructed. You see a large opening in the ceiling, creating an enormous shaft. Metal tracks snake down from above, and you see this enormous, almost like an elevator, created. This enormous platform that rises up and down. Structures built on it towards the surface and below. And then the city begins to shrink. Spires abandoned, falling into darkness, crumbling away into nothing. The area around the city, around Tontanur, is excavated away. Piece by piece, you watch it is carved, broken down, and transported up above, the elevator moving so rapidly now that it is blurred out. Underneath your feet, the enormous stone dais with the intricate carvings cracks and breaks, and you watch as the light glowing within, the light of the guardian spirit, fades and then slinks away, disappearing into the darkness of the deeper caverns, abandoning its post, abandoning the Stone Giant people. In front of you, the enormous stone sphere, this massive obsidian sphere that's hovering on these near impossible threads of stone and metal and crystal, begins to slowly sink as the threads, one by one, snap, until at last the sphere crashes down into the stone, shattering in half, breaking, revealing an enormous geode, crystals of every color, lining the inside, before they too are mined, taken away, leaving nothing but the hollow shell of this cracked stone sphere sitting atop the ruins. Niles.
Do we see what is
the
mining?
Figures are moving so quickly they're just blurred out. It's time's moving so fast that you can't see any of the individual figures yet. It's just the effects of it.
Right.
As the crystal is eventually all removed, leaving nothing but the stone shell, the last light in the city goes out. And then, as time begins to slow once again, you see a sudden flash of white light shining down the hole above, illuminating the city for a brief moment. The corpse of the city. You see stone giants standing around, looking confused as they stare up into the light, shielding their eyes against this bright flash. And then a single pure tone rings out. And as it does so, you watch as the city reverberates. The sound starts so low, you feel it before you hear it. This reverberation in your chest, rising higher and higher. And as it does so, you feel your entire body begin to vibrate in tune with this sound. Around you, watch as the stone giants do as well. Before one by one, almost as this sweeping wave, they vanish. Sections of the city vanishing with them, leaving behind the natural structures only. And as they do so, the dream ends, and you find yourselves coming awake, back in the camp of the Sverfniplin. Up above, in Blindenstone. But at this stage, Ember had let Gook know that something was wrong before going into the dream. But you wake up and as you gasp awake, Gook is standing over you. As you sort of gasp awake, you hear Gook go, "Holy fucking shit!"
What are you doing? Why are you so close to me?
Oh my god. My heart's going a million miles an hour.
You guys, I was being spied on in my sleep.
Just gonna sit down for a second. You were all like having like really bad dreams, and then Ember was really worried about you, and then he touched you on the hand, and then he just like fell over, and I tried to like wake you guys up, and you weren't waking up, and then you all just got like really still, and then you suddenly sat bolt upright. What was I supposed to think? I thought something had gone horribly wrong.
Go. How long have we been? How long has this been happening for?
Well, Ember went to sleep like 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. It's been ages.
Hoot.
Does that feel one-to-one time for us in the dream? Does it feel like
it's hard to say because
of the rewind, including the fights?
Because of all that stuff, it's hard to say for sure. But yeah, Harry, I mean, it felt like you were in that dream for a couple of hours. It sounds like you were in that dream for a couple of hours. Which is similar to your experiences in giant dreams in the past. Your experiences have normally been that what you kind of subjectively experience in the dream seems to be what your bodies experience in the real world. Although now at this moment, Harry and Bart, as you wake up and find yourselves underground, you really feel awake. For some strange reason, you feel like you haven't been asleep. That stone giant mindset is still kind of there a little bit. The other important thing to note as well that happens when you awaken, each of you feels a pulse from your heartstone, and as you look down, for a brief moment, you see an afterimage of your giant echo. Each of you have achieved synchronicity with your echoes at level 1. You all now gain your synchronized bonus from your giant echoes. That is dependent on the class of your giant echoes. Each of you now has a synchronized bonus. If you don't know what your synchronized bonus is, let me know. I'm more than happy to go through them really quickly based on your classes. But
I definitely don't know.
That is okay.
It's been a very long time.
It has been a hot minute. Let's go through them really, really quickly, just because it does give you, and it's probably good for us to go over that as well. Anyway, right? Like it's good for us to touch on that. So let me quickly pull open the. Bear with me 2 seconds while I pull open the giant echo information, because my OneNote is being really annoying. It has frozen. I will get back to that later.
Oh no!
It's okay. I've got multiple copies of it. I can pull open the document.
These cool abilities, but guess what they are.
Yeah, no, I've got a hard copy too. If one note's going to be
I
frustrating.
do vaguely remember it, but I can't.
That's right. I can pull it open.
Yeah,
I've got
I
them all.
think I chose one before I even considered Warlock, so it's gonna be interesting.
Here we go. I've got a Word document version that I would have sent you guys out. So I'll just read out from the Word document version. So Harry, what was your giant echo class? I think you took
I'm a cleric.
That's right. You took the cleric. Let me open this up. Has Word? Oh, it's all of Office that's frozen. That's fun.
Oh, cool.
I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. Here we go. I've got it. All right. So you took the cleric. That means your resonance feature, as you achieve synchronization, is restore. As an action, you can evoke healing energy that can restore a number of hit points equal to your giant echo level. Choose any creatures within 30 feet of you and divide those hit points among them. This feature can restore a creature to no more than half its hit point maximum. So you've gained this basically like as a one use as a result of your synchronization because you're level 1 resonance. Christian, I believe you took Paladin, didn't you? You doubled up on Paladin.
Yes.
You've gained Compel. As a bonus action, you can issue a challenge that compels another creature to do battle with you. Each creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, a creature can't willingly move more than 30 feet away from you. Effect ends if the creature is incapacitated. If you are incapacitated or die, or if the creature is more than 30 feet from you due to another reason.
Lovely.
Simon, what is your class for your fire giant?
I believe it's a druid.
You doubled up on druid too, did you?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Your resonance feature is adept. You can cast the alter spell self twice per long rest without spending material components on yourself, or you can cast it on a willing ally, and it does not require concentration when you cast it. Alter self is a pretty nice spell. If you need to give yourself like water breathing, for example, or something like that, you can now do that. Just, here's some gills, please enjoy. Matt, what is Sindaris' class? I think you went...
Sindaris is a bard.
I was going to say, Bard is a Skald. You have gained the resonance feature of Inspire. As a reaction, you can spend a charge to give an ally within 30 feet advantage on a weapon or spell attack. You have 3 charges, which you regain each day while resonance is active. Once resonance is lost, you can no longer regain spent charges. So it's basically, you get those. If you lose resonance, you still keep those charges until they're used up. You just don't get them back after that. And Threign, Jared, Ulfric, I believe you went... Was it fighter with Ulfric?
Whatever the barbarian equivalent was, I guess.
Valiant. You gain resist. On a short rest, you gain resistance to one of the following damage types: fire, cold, thunder, or lightning. And that lasts, and you can change it each day.
All right, we'll go with fire for now because I already have frost.
You gain resistance to fire damage as you gain the resistance. And for those who are playing along at home, Ali is not with us, but Ali's cloud giant, Corius. She doesn't have it in the thing, so I can't see which class it is. Let me have a quick look. I think if I was, let's see how organized I was. Did I write it down? No, I didn't. We'll have to find out Ali's when she gets back. I don't have a copy of her class, and because I can't see it in the campaign, I can't tell you what it is. It'll have to be a surprise for next time. Classic Ali.
Is the advantage from Inspire, is that on any dice roll?
Any weapon or spell attack.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll put these in the notes of your giant classes, and that way you can... I'll put them in the notes of your character sheets. I'll just copy them into the notes of your character sheets. That way they'll be in there as the additional features, and if you have any questions about them, we'll go over them when you guys next have to use them.
Cool.
But I'll copy them in.
I think mine's like my giant level, so that's like I get to heal 3 hit points, so maybe that might need a bit of...
I think it's not 3 hit points, is it? Is it from memory? It's... Let me have a quick look.
I thought it said hit points equal to your giant level.
That will need some adjusting. You're correct. It does say that. That's not right. Sorry. I think it's your echo level multiplied by your spellcasting modifier. So I'll.
That would be much better.
That's actually sorry. I'll put it in your notes. We'll make sure that that's correct.
Yep.
Awesome. I have to say, one of my favorite parts of this was renaming each of the giant classes and then giving them the resonance feature names as well. It was really fun. It's like having, because like each of them are like the precursor classes. So Artificer is called Forge Master, Barbarian's called Valiant, Bard is Skald, Cleric is Devotary, Druid was Shaman, Fighter is Warder, Monk is Enlightened. Paladin is Oathbound. Ranger is Voyager. Rogue is Knave. Sorcerer is Stormward. Warlock is Accursed. And Wizard is Primal Mage. Accursed is a great... That's it. I think we should just make that as a Warlock subclass, actually. Accursed is a great name for a Warlock subclass. Yeah, I got Cursed, and my powers are my curse. I can draw upon my curse to do stuff. That'd be pretty cool, actually. But yeah, that is where, as you all awaken, you may all benefit from a long rest if you have not already done so. You do get the benefits of a long rest while you're in your dreams. And you have picked up your resonance feature.
I was running low on a lot.
I thought the long rest might be timely, given the fight with the Behir is still sort of fairly recent.
The fight with the Behir being the last fight in a series of fights.
You guys did some back-to-back fighting.
It's true. I was poisoned and almost died in that same day.
Absolutely. Yeah, as each of you feel that connection to your giant echo grow in strength, for a moment, the thoughts of your echo sit in your own minds, just for a moment, as you feel their personalities bleed together with yours before pulling back into the Heartstone, the memories returning back into the stones, leaving you changed, but empowered as a result of your resonance. I believe before you guys went to sleep, you were planning on potentially heading deeper, following the trail out of Blindenstone and down into the deeper caverns and catacombs. In the interests of kind of keeping things moving, but also not having Ali miss out on too much while Lyra's away. Harry!
Harry would just like to quickly check on Figment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you asked Figment some questions. You guys actually had some questions for Figment to consider as well while you were in the Echo. I believe your questions for Figment revolved around how much he was able to remember now, what he was able to access, and more importantly, what he was able to figure out from the core that he took from Animus, that Animus left behind.
Yeah, he did say it would take some time, though.
He did say it would take some time. Harry, as you close your eyes and concentrate and reach out, you feel that familiar presence within your Heartstone, the presence of Figment there. And I'm going to change the music to something. I was ready for like a bit more like upbeat, lighthearted stuff as you were in the Gnome Village, but we're back to slightly more, should we say?
Figment can upbeat. Figment can be upbeat. He would do wicked dubstep. He'd be like,
nah. When I think of Figment, I think 80s synthwave. That's what kind of comes to mind for Figment. I reckon Figment for sure would be like 80s synthwave music, like dun 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 dun, as he's like talking. I think that'd be sick. And I'm not just saying that because I've had Dangerous from Epic the Musical stuck in my head now for like 8 days. If you know what I'm talking about, you're a fucking legend. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, guess what? You now have to subscribe and go and listen to Epic the Musical. It's some incredible guy called Jorge is making a musical about Odysseus. It is genuinely, unironically, fucking amazing. I am more than happy to plug it with all the plugging I can possibly do. He's currently released 5 of the sagas. There's still like 3 or 4 more to go. The Underworld saga, it's the closest I've come to crying emotionally in a while. It was so good. I thoroughly recommend it. It's like very true to the mythology of Odysseus, and at the same time, a banger musical with epic music. Thoroughly recommend.
I love it.
But I can't get Hermes is 80s synthwave, and it's so appropriate, and I can't get one of the songs Dangerous out of my head. It's so good. Well, it's a little bit dangerous, my friend. It's so good. Yeah, Harry, as you reach out in your mind to Figment, you feel that familiar presence there in the Heartstone, this comforting pulse. But it feels different, Harry. It's stronger, more assured. In fact, there's a different beat to it. Rather than that very slow, gentle pulse, you feel this time a much more frenetic beat coming from the Heartstone. And as soon as you focus your attention inwards, you hear Figment's voice.
Harry, how are you doing? How was the rest of the dream, Harry?
Oh, hey, Figman, just wanted to check in on you. Yeah, we're good. We feel fully rested and ready to go on the next adventure. How are you feeling? You sound stronger than yesterday.
I feel good, Harry. I can feel more of myself. I feel myself thinking different thoughts, feeling different emotions. I feel more complete, Harry. That is good, your bodies have rested.
You wanna let us in on what those thoughts and feelings and emotions are?
Of course, Harry. We are friends. I feel hopeful, Harry. I feel like we can make a difference. If we can get to the Stone Giant Citadel, if we can get to the center, to their nexus, connect with it, I think I can restore more of my lost powers, more of my lost memories. I can restore myself and find my function.
Awesome. So, like, when you get a chance later and you remember more of your, because you said you need some time, let us know. Give us a shout, and we can have a listen to what you remember.
Of course, Harry. I have had a chance to pick through some of what was in the core, and what I have learned is very interesting. Do you want me to share with just you, or speak to your friends as well?
If you like, I can put you on speaker.
That sounds good, Harry. Place me on speaker. I guess your mouth is a speaker for me to speak.
Yeah, Mom said I use it too often, so yeah.
Harry leaves his mouth open. Harry, like, as he places the Heartstone on his head, it like reverberates through, like echoing out. Like Harry literally becomes like a speaker.
Yeah. Like the Heartstone's vibrating right in the jaw. Like,
and don't forget,
I love that. Yeah,
because that's not horrifying.
Don't forget as well, like Harry had brain damage, so there's a lot more reverberation that can bounce through that.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
Yep.
Do you actually open your mouth for the speaker?
Yeah, Harry gets his stone, puts it against his jaw.
Oh, fuck. Niles just looks over at you and goes, Harry, are you okay?
Sorry, Figman said he remembered stuff, so I thought instead of him just telling me, I could just put him a speaker.
I don't understand that terminology. On speaker. Do you mean he's speaking?
Yeah, I mean hands-free. Harry puts him on speaker. Yeah.
He's gonna speaker through me as he holds his Heartstone to his chin or your cheek, I guess. As you hold it to your cheek, Harry, it's the weirdest sensation.
Just to remind me real quick.
Yeah.
Do we all know about Figment?
You do, yeah. You guys do.
Right.
Harry opened up 2 or 3 sessions ago. He was pretty honest about the whole situation with Figment.
It feels like 2 months, to be honest. It feels like a while, yeah.
Look, it possibly was about a month and a bit ago, given how often I was away in the last little bit. Yeah, Harry, as you hold the Heartstone to your cheek, the weirdest sensation. You feel the metal of your new hand slowly begin to shift and change as it opens up to allow for this like padded speaker against your cheek to vibrate with the frequency required to transmit audio. Your whole skeleton vibrates with this, Harry. It's not just your skull. You feel this echoing through your whole body. And from like the bone transduction, Figment's voice sounds much deeper to you. Where everyone else hears like,
hello, my friends.
You hear,
hello, my friends.
Just from the bone conduction is so much more. It's so different.
Harry would like to just muck around and like change the shape of his mouth so it's more like like how the wow kind of sound. The wow.
Can I simulate this? Maybe. Let's see if I can simulate this. Let's have a go.
Hello, my friends. How are you doing? I have news for you.
How does that sound? Did that work at all?
It's more the noise gate that's cutting it off, but it's the tiniest bit.
Whatever.
Not enough to say it works.
Never mind.
Hello, my friends. It is good to see you are all feeling rested. Harry tells me you enjoyed the rest of the dream, the rest of the memory.
I met my dad.
It was just an echo. It was not really your father, Harry. You do know this, don't you, Harry?
Oh, yeah, well, I talked to him more than my actual... Anyway, go back on to, what we learned.
I was picking through the core left behind by Animus. It is not his core. It was a core he had taken control of. I believe it is the one you called Archivist. It could explore the echoes and dreams, correct?
Yeah. How did he get into our Hearthstones then?
I am not sure. I have not figured that out just yet. But I can find out for you if you would like me to investigate this further.
Actually, I would like you to see if you can figure out. I was wondering if you could find out the origin of this animus, if he is what it is. That would be good.
I find myself feeling afraid when I consider him. This emotion is new, since taking the core of Archivist. He scares me.
I know you've got a lot of questions and a lot of things that we've asked you to do for us. I thank you for that. But if the thought of maybe studying and looking into Animus is too scary, we forget that you have technically, from what you've just mentioned, merged with Archivist. Maybe you could tell us what Archivist knows.
Its code is fragmented, damaged by its time, taken over by Animus. But I can tell you that it had a number of subprograms it was keeping track of, mostly to do with these dreams you have been experiencing. It recorded, categorized and stored memories, personalities, the dreams of the giants. Much as it is already doing for you, much as I have been doing for Harry.
Do you happen to know any recollections of its final moments when Animus found it? How Animus found it?
In how long ago Animus found it?
Error. I am afraid.
Well, maybe we don't push Figment too much then, by the sounds of it.
Okay.
Well, we should probably take this moment then to kind of unpack what just happened. But how are you feeling? That you must be feeling things, because being a stone giant, when you have feelings about the stone giants, must be a bit much.
Yeah, that... I'll be honest, it's really fucking annoying that they're not what I envisioned them to be, or what I made them out to be. Makes me confused why the ones that I was with were forcing people in these slave encampments. Makes me feel more like it's the Duragars doing, and that we are right, that they are just pretending or thinking that they're in a dream, and the Duragar are behind all of this, which makes my hatred of that half-casted Dero Duragar that much thicker.
I believe that you might be right. The Duragar seem to be at the heart of all of this.
Also, I'm not sure if what happened to the stone giants was a uniqueness to them as some sort of enlightenment, as it seemed like Hunma was mentioning what their goal was. Sounded very similar to the Eris people, enlightenment in a monkish way, one way or another. When they all seemed to turn and vanish with that light from above. Because if that happened to, say it was just the stone giants, why are there still ones here if they all enlightened? Unless maybe that light that we saw was when giants in general disappeared.
I think that might be more likely. We experienced a similar phenomenon during our first stream, I believe, when we experienced that light. I believe, anyway.
You watch as Lyra nods. Yeah, I remember something, and that tone as well, that sound. We heard that too, and it was definitely, we've definitely seen and heard that before. I don't know if it's enlightenment. I remember at the time it felt scary. It felt kind of scary this time too, not gonna lie.
And it made everything like a, just clarifying, DM, like a grayish white. Was that correct? Or what?
Yeah, the light was so bright, all other colors kind of faded away underneath this onslaught of light. For the stone giants, because you were kind of seeing it through the stone giants' perspective deep underground, this was blinding. I mean, The stone giants didn't even have a chance. You just watched as this light shone down from above, breaking through the stone, the ground above, through that massive shaft right in the very middle, and you watched as they covered their eyes in pain before just vanishing, all of them. Along with a lot of their buildings as well. It wasn't just the stone giants themselves, it was, most of the things that were nearby as well.
It does stand to reason, though. The stone giants would certainly be in a susceptible state if they had been told that they must create for the dream, and then for creatures of said dream to come to them to tell them to perhaps do what they were asked to do, and they would follow those directives to the T. They are a pragmatic race, by the seams of it. They believe in what they believe in very firmly, and they are not swayed easily by that. Yet their belief in the dream stems from their king. Maybe that is a weakness for them.
You all visited in the above world of Nostea, the hill giants, correct?
This is true, yes, yeah.
Yep.
Is there a current king or someone that you remember while visiting there reminiscent of this hill giants they mentioned in the dreams? One who achieved enlightenment? Or awoke, as Hunma used?
That didn't strike me as enlightened. More, she had a different view on things, perhaps. Not necessarily enlightened per se, but more wanting to change the way things were going. Her brothers, not so much, but she had a different take on things and was more amicable to us than we expected.
So Niles, Ember, Harry, Lyra, Threign, the five of you know that the hill giants, they're not one clan at the moment. They are fractured. Chiefess Gunglot is leading a pretty small contingency of them compared to the total population of hill giants. Her two brothers are by far leading larger forces, and Gunglot is trying to do things a bit differently. You know that since they came back, she's basically tried to change the hill giants, to change their place in the old thing, to change their place in giant society. She's trying to do things differently. But her brothers are basically fighting for leadership. The two of them see themselves as the real chieftains, and it's actually the beginnings of a civil war amongst the hill giants right now. You guys kind of were skirting around the beginnings of a civil war. You did your best to help Gunglot. You got her a pretty powerful ally in the form of the dragon turtle Mauler. But then you guys fucked off. You have no idea what's happened since then.
You guys got a dragon turtle on her side?
Yes, they did.
Quite just that either. Mauler was gained for her to be able to access the oil reserve for their castle, Sky Castle, right?
Yeah. Mauler wasn't a very old, very sickly dragon turtle who was not really there for fighting, was more there to help sort of guide the hill giants down towards the deep ocean oil reserves, because their Sky Castle and their weapons are all, not Sky Castle, their Sky Fort and their weapons are all based on the burning of crude oil.
Could I, as sort of the group chat around the dream or what happened is just going on, I'd like to go to Gobbledy. I don't have my notes directly in front of me, but Gobbledy is the one that reluctant leader. Yeah, okay. I would like to go to Gobbledy and just explain to him, to cut down on the roleplay, just explain to him the looking and design of the Earth Guardian.
Isn't it Noose? That's the
Noose. Sorry, Gobbledy's the young one. Sorry, I'm having a moment. Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Noose.
Usually you're right on that one.
In my
very impressive is what I mean.
In my defense, I was quickly pulling open something else. I realized at the moment, I was like, I feel like there's another question coming. I'm just going to grab my notes for that, because I can feel the momentum of these questions. And I was like, I'm just going to quickly pull open these notes for something that's way back. I've got them now, so I'm all good. I'm 100% back with you.
I would like to know if Noose or Blindenstone or Swiftnerblin kind has any history or recollections of a creature that looks like the Earth Guardian.
Good question. Hey lads, creature made of stone that can move about and pull itself free from the rock.
But kind of like a turtle, like a shell, something inside it that molded the rock around it.
Aye. They have
very
been
powerful, very old.
Aye, I can't say that I myself have seen any sign of that, but I mean, I don't know whether this is of relevance or not to you, but one of our I guess like legends of this Firbolg is a I guess it's kind of like a golem made of crystal and rock. One of our I guess like ancient tales, one of our stories that's passed down. I mean, look, I'm having to sort of like think back a bit. I was told this as a kid when I was a wee little gnome. Tales of some like crystal golem, a stone and crystal golem that some Sverniblin came across when they were mining deep in the sessions looking for gemstones. And they bartered with this thing. It initially, I think the story goes that they were like trying to mine around it and accidentally mined it, and then it woke up and was all ready to smash them. And then the wily gnomes used their cunning and their tricks to convince it not to kill them. And then they did a trade and they fucked off. You know, classic deep gnome stories, right? Intelligence beats brute strength.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard so many of them.
I am going to ask for an insight check up now. It's. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? A lot of our stories try to hype up being wily and cunning over being strong, being sneaky over being brave. You know, it's just stories that we tell as kids. But I mean, does that kind of sound like what you're asking about, lad?
Maybe, I'm not sure. There's so many things in the world that this could simply just be a crystal golem. Okay.
Can I tell you, we mine a lot of crystals. Like, I don't want you to when I say a lot, the number you're imagining is not high enough. The deep gnomes of Sverniblin, we are the best gemstone miners on Nostea. Always have been. I've never come across a crystal golem in my life. They're not real.
I hope we can take that skill into account if this partnership between our people ever happens.
No wizard's going to waste their time and money making a golem made of crystal. It just shatters. You can see Noose is really like he's really enjoying this.
I'm going to grab him on both shoulders. The refugees. Everyone else, focus. Okay, we're sidetracking here. I love this side of you, this passion. Crystals. Fuck crystals. Anyway,
can't believe you just said fuck crystals.
Oh no, because you're saying you want to. I'm confused right now. Anyway,
look, we love crystals, but not that much, lad. He doesn't say that.
The mind.
It was one time.
While everyone's talking, discussing, I would like us to get a move on as soon as possible and not waste any time. We're all rested. We're ready to get moving. While everyone's discussing, can you and me possibly head, maybe a couple of the others of Noblin, and I know it's going to be tough. But like we were discussing last night, can we dismantle the minecarts?
We can, but I'm just concerned that we're going to be blocking off A, our form of escape, and B, a form of our friends and family coming back. The minecart tracks, we're pretty confident they're still hidden. Like if they'd been compromised, trust me, there'd be nobody left.
We found many signs showing the opposite, though, showing that it has been compromised. The fact that everyone escaped, the fact that the Behir was left here to guard when there is nothing of importance left behind other than a ruined, raided city. It's the only thing that I can think of that is important enough for them to have left a creature as strong as the Behir, with a tactical mind, which you may know crystals, but I know war. I know fighting and combat in a way that I thought was innocent at first, but I realized is much more malicious with my own raising. I feel like that it was left here by the Duergar, who, you know better than anyone, are a war people, so that they have a route for their warriors.
I'm not going to permanently dismantle them, but we can put in place things that can at least prevent anyone using them to sneak up on us, or even worse. It's the only advantage we've had as a people
your
down
people's
here.
City. I'll take that, but anything to slow them down and halt any further damage they could cause.
We'll go through one by one, dismantle, or at least reroute the tracks into maybe a pit or something. So at least if anyone's using the carts, we'll know, and we'll know who they are before they can do us any damage.
Yeah.
And that way, if it's our people, we can get them out and look after them. I'm not going to cut off my people but people's only form of transportation down here that's not out in the open.
I'll whistle Gong Chi to come over and I guess give I don't need to give an explanation because we're all sort of know what's going on. I'll just give a nod to, I guess, Niles.
Perfect. But as you head off to go and help the gnomes of Blindenstone basically reroute all of the rail tracks in that central underground station into a big pit. Could I get you to roll me, please? What would you be doing to help with that? Are you going to be trying to do sort of technical things, helping to unscrew bolts and screws, or are you going to be focusing on like digging a big old fucking pit?
Instead, yeah, look, it's not too shabby. I'm not too good at many things when it comes to stuff that's not about beauty or art or refinement in my sort of noble training.
You could make the whole pretty, put like a few paintings down there. Maybe like...
I do, however,
and I've bedazzle the whole.
with the Tempest Guild and with my slowly sort of growing in skill, I've got a pretty good athletics, so I might just try to carry some of the larger carts for them because they're tiny little guys.
They are pretty small. Athletics check, please. While you are doing that, Ember, Harry, Threign, and Niles. What would you be doing?
Hmm.
Do you want to have a think while I... Oh, yeah? Do you want to have a think while I describe what Bart does?
On a carrot?
Harry's just nibbling on a carrot.
There was a conversation going on. I just... both Bart and Christian were getting like antsy of like not moving when we need to be moving. So I was happy to let you guys talk, but I was like, I'll do some stuff on the side while we're discussing the dream. Yeah. The dream was important, but so is like what's happening right now.
I think Niles is probably contemplating the deeper meaning of enlightenment as a monk and like having like a lot of his like faith systems like highly challenged. He hasn't had time to really like process one, Figment's interpretation of what a soul is, which is just data. As a monk, he is not super keen on that and has been reflecting on this for a while, ruminating, I would say. And then two, also what the stone giants were really trying to attain with their so-called enlightenment and what that actually means from whether or not that is well, he doesn't actually know what it is because he didn't experience it. But if it is a spiritual or if it is some other form of enlightenment that may not necessarily fit the exact bill as what a monk of the aristocracy might or may not believe enlightenment to be, he would be ruminating all of this quite quietly, maybe in some sort of cross-legged meditative pose.
I'm gonna throw another spanner in the works for you as well, Niles. As you consider thinking
I'm also
about,
gonna throw a spanner in the works.
Nice. As you consider thinking about Figment's soul being data potentially, or being like artificial, Niles, you come to the sudden realization that you don't actually know that for sure. Figment talks like a Warforged, but most recently, after whatever he did with Archivist's Core, he was much more emotive than last time.
That's true.
Niles, we should do some sparring. That's what I'm doing the perks.
Threign, have you ever stopped to consider exactly what the soul means to you?
Soul of a warrior.
This seems more like tales. This more seems like a tales around the campfire. Right now, we've just woken up. I think it's prime time for a little bit of sparring before we head out to sharpen our skills.
Maybe you're right. Actually, maybe I do need to get these idle thoughts out of my mind.
Perfect. I then just grapple him. I grapple him and throw him up into the air.
Can I still stay in the cross-legged position as this happens? Like, yes, that would be. And then you just pick me up in the air.
And then you flap your wings.
Yeah, I just fly away.
For sure.
Yeah.
But with the 12, just some heavy lifting for the gnomes. Because you don't really know what's needed, you're kind of just like picking things up and then being told like put them here, and then another noble will come along and be like, no, over here. No, don't pick that up. No, don't touch that. As you're trying your best to be helpful, and you are very helpful, but you just don't
This
know.
glyph or just a rock, or just a stone, or this all looks very similar to me.
I mean, Gobbledy points out some very important things that need transported when you finally get there and like put these things down. This really heavy like pile of metal pylons, and as you put them down, you watch as Noose turns to you and goes, "Lad, they're for the latrine. We don't need them." And from behind you, you hear Gobbledy kind of like snicker and then like duck behind a corner.
Also, I've noticed one good thing, even though Inspiring Leader does take 10 minutes to do, is it doesn't actually have a cap on usages. It has a cap on a creature, can only get it once per short or long rest, but I can do it as many times as I want, so I could just do this to like an army if I had an hour. So while I'm doing this with the Deep Gnomes, I'm going to give them all 10 temporary hit points, just so they're a bit...
Yeah.
We're in a dangerous place, but we're on the run at the moment. Exactly, yeah.
100%. Niles and Threign, Niles, are you engaging in the spar?
In the sense, no, I am.
Niles and Threign.
Kind of thinking, but I'm also kind of just reacting.
Please roll the primary stat that you would be training with as you spar. So for Threign, I'm guessing that's athletics. For Niles, I'm guessing that's acrobatics. While you two are rolling that, Ember and Harry. It's 22 for Threign. Niles, that's going to be a rough one to beat. Ember, what's your plan?
Look, to be honest, I'm kind of a bit like Bart. I'm quite keen to get going. The idea of sitting here waiting, I think personally, I'd be looking at the sparring that Threin's doing and not be upset by it, but the idea that they're doing something to improve themselves instead of trying to improve the situation that we're in would probably get me quite, not upset, but like I'd be getting quite anxious about wanting to actually leave and start doing something. So I'd probably be fidgeting, making a little bit of fire in my hands, and then probably looking at something that I can do at least in the area that we're in. Like if there's a garden or something like that I can kind of tend to while I'm waiting for Bart to come back from doing the carts. And
the irony that you're anxious and have like anxiety about wanting to do something quickly.
So you self-soothe with gardening.
Yeah.
I like it. No, but that's actually, that makes sense as like a self-soothing behavior. Like I'm really anxious right now. I'm going to do some gardening. Like that makes perfect sense. I actually get that. Because like you're not in control of these other people. They're doing their own shit. You're there. Like for a moment, you watch as Ember like flame flicker around his fingers. He's clearly getting impatient. Ember, finally, your patience breaks, and you just storm off, stomp off around the corner. As you stomp out around the corner to the bottom of the tower. Not a garden per se, but there's a spiral, almost like a relief around the outside of the tower that is growing these beautiful clusters of bioluminescent lichen around the outside of the tower in these patterns. You can clearly see the gnomes have tended to these. But with the collapse of the tower, with the Bahir's lightning breath, you can see large sections of this plant life has been knocked free. The lichen has been like shattered off parts of the stone, and there's still like fragments of stone around the base where the lichen is currently being like crushed or is dying. And you take a few moments to gather that up, place it back on the stone using your druidcraft skills, reaffixing it to the stone and giving it a chance to live and grow again around these sections of stonework that have been broken. Do you want to roll me Ember? I guess this would fall under probably like a survival or a nature. Yeah. I'd say whichever one you prefer.
Let's go for survival check. That is a nat 20.
That's a natural fucking 20.
There we go.
Ember. As you begin to repair the lichen, attaching it to the outside of the building and looking over it again, you realize a couple of important things. The first one is this lichen is currently turning water into light. It's growing on the surface of the stone, taking in air, probably minerals from the stone itself as well, and the light that it's giving off is this beautiful soft glow. When the stone is drier, the glow fades. As you tip a bit of water from your canteen on, you watch as the glow brightens again. You realize all you need to do is put this in a jar and you have a adjustable light source that is non-fire based. and pretty
I
useful.
would be taking a little bit of
It's a seltzer lantern that we got from the Kuatoans.
This is the same licon used in the seltzer lantern that the Kuatoans use. You found the source of it, Ember.
Cool.
What I'd try and do is I'd try and take, for the people that are in our team, maybe take a little bit of each, enough so that I could give one to each team member, and maybe even we can use it as my thought. If it gains light and then drops off every time you add water to it, maybe kind of a way to communicate over a distance if we needed to.
Yeah, you could if you had like a wet rag and you squeeze drops of water on, every time the water hits, there'd be a sudden flash of glow, and then it would slowly recede as it absorbed the water. Yeah, 100%, definitely. Very nice, Ember. The other thing you notice, given that's a survival check with a natural 20, you can't help but look around the tower as you're doing this. Like, you're gathering up these sections of lichen, you're placing them on the walls again. You almost miss this. But as you're moving a section of crumbling stonework, glint of metal catches your eye. And as you kick aside some fragments of the rubble, you see, half buried by the fragments of stone, a very strange looking metal rod, roughly about sort of 30 centimeters, 30 to 40 centimeters in length, roughly about 10 centimeters in diameter. You can see that it has a single button on the top. It looks like it's probably gnomish in make. It looks like a lot of the deep gnome items that you've seen, the construct of it, it looks like it's this very like intricate carved section of metal, interlocking plates holding it in place. And as you click the top of the button, you feel clockwork grind underneath your fingers, this like ticking noise. And as you go to move your hand, the rod is stuck in place. As you let go, it stays there, hovering in free space.
Cool.
Go back and press the button. Moves again. Turn it sideways, hold it in the air, press the button. Let go, the rod stays in place. You grab on and slowly lift yourself until you're sitting on it. The rod stays in place. Simon, you may add an immovable rod to Ember's character sheet. You have...
Love it.
Nice.
You have found an uncommon magic item of the gnome's make that was scattered when the tower was destroyed. An immovable rod was one of the items in the upper floor treasury that was scattered as you as the Behir destroyed the tower. Yeah.
It's given us a bullet to kill a dragon.
Love it. Love
so you
it.
find an immovable rod. Our two combatants doing the sparring, Niles and Threign. Threign 22, Niles 20. It's fucking close. The two of you exchange blows. Niles quick and agile, using your speed and your lithe form to your advantage, dodging the vast majority of Threign's attacks. Threign, a very skilled combatant, not just relying on strength alone, but watching and predicting your moves, Niles. Threign moves almost instinctually, whereas a lot of what you do is very considered. You're often like moving through these forms that you've ingrained into you. That's this now muscle memory, right? Threign has fought wild beasts, has taken on all manner of foes. There's a ferocity to the way that Threign fights that gives him, in the last moment, just enough of an upper hand to catch you. Part luck, part skill, part instinct. You're not sure. But as that hand closes around your chest and slams you down into the ground, Niles, you know this particular spar is over. Threign has you pinned.
I just smile.
Good one, little one. This was fun. Okay, time to get up. I can pick him up, dust him off. Oh, okay, that was very fun. Good morning session. If it is morning, don't know, but... I think it is time that we start doing things, eh?
I think so.
Got a busy day. Maybe next time, eh?
Maybe.
Maybe.
In my mind. Maybe. Should we go see if the gnomes need any help with the...
Before you do, we're going to check with Harry.
No. Yeah.
I can see Dave's hands up. I hadn't even seen them before I did that.
Yep.
Harry.
Harry would like to ask the deep gnomes, you guys have any maps of the area that we're heading?
I'd say probably Gobbledy be the person who's kind of like hanging around, not being as helpful with the train tracks.
Classic Gobbledy.
Yeah. So as you approach Gobbledy, at this point you can see Gobbledy's like peering around a corner, watching Bart walk off with a big armful of metal rods, and he's kind of like chuckling to himself a little bit. And as you approach, he turns and goes, "I wasn't doing anything." Well, I was helping. I was being really helpful.
I can see that.
No, I was helping. No. Sorry, what's up?
Well, I'm not doing anything either, to be honest. So, I was wondering if you could help me. Do you have any maps over the area that we're headed to?
Any maps?
Where the stone giants are?
Oh, you're heading down to the deeper caverns.
Of the tunnels with the...
Yeah, I think we should probably have some of the cartographic maps around here somewhere. I have a bit of a look for you and see what I can find. It won't be a huge amount. Remember, this is territory that's been claimed by the Duergar, and we generally try to avoid them wherever possible. But I can give you rough maps, definitely. Or at least I can.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you would have tried to scout out the area a bit. I know it's area that belongs to them, but
for sure, yeah, absolutely. I know for a fact a lot of the scouts who went out tried to sort of gather detailed maps, but most of the areas that like where they are, I mean, you've got to understand the territory they control is fucking huge, Harry. They've been slowly taking over territory for a long time. There's not a lot that we've got there, but I've got a little bit of... Sorry, why have he slowly becoming British? He was an Aussie, sorry. I don't know how that happens.
I mean, you might have some maps of the area that they took over before they took over it, yeah?
Yeah, I guess we probably have, some maps going back that far.
Let's have a look.
Gobbledy will lead you over to a section of the tower you haven't explored yet, one of the upper floors. Harry, you have to actually scale up the side of the broken section of tower to get to these upper floors.
Harry scampers. He scampers good.
Scampers like a little knave. As you scamper up, Gobbledy not quite as good at that, but as you get to the upper tower, you can see there's a room here filled with all manner of scrolls and maps and books. It looks like a library level on the top of this tower. Luckily, most of the items here seem undamaged by the massive hole below. The water seeping down the tower hasn't entered into this room and ruined a lot of the scrolls. Harry, could you roll me an investigation check, please?
Yeah, Harry would love to.
You're pretty investigative.
Definitely not perception?
I'd say perception or investigation. Yeah, I'd say perception or investigation. Definitely.
Good.
That's a natural 20.
That is a neat 20.
I love how you've saved these to the end tonight.
Whoa.
That's another natural 20. Harry.
What the
we're gonna roll for this one. I didn't roll for Embers because it was already listed as one of the items that was hidden away in the tower, but natural 20 on exploring this place here. Could I get you to please roll me a D12, Harry?
D12?
Yes, please.
It is a 4.
All right, let's have a quick look. Okay. You find Harry. Not just...
I'm Harry?
You find Harry Copper.
Find yourself.
You find yourself, Harry. As you go through... As you go through these scrolls, as you go through these notes, you do indeed find a map of what's known as the Stoneforge Halls. It looks like this area was... You find a very old map of the area. A number of the newer maps don't quite explore a lot of the inner sections, but this whole area is a natural forge. There's a magma flow at the very bottom of this massive crevasse. This was once a volcano, this area down here, that collapsed in on itself, leaving behind this massive magma channel. The maps that you have and the reports from the scouts paint a clear picture. This area was claimed by the Duergar, and they are using this massive magma flow as heat to drive both steam engines as well as power a massive forge that has been constructed around the very bottom of this magma flow down in the Stoneforge halls. The area, the older map that you find, scouts out a number of hidden pathways that link between various aspects, various parts of this massive hallway, including a couple of caches marked on this map, which, at least at the time the map was made, were safe spaces for the scouts to come and go, as well as hide out when they needed to. In addition, Harry, as you pull open a number of the scrolls trying to find this information, you come across a scroll covered in arcane language, which, as you peer through, given that you have some spellcasting knowledge as a warlock, you realize is a spell scroll of Guardian of Nature, a 4th level spell.
That's a good spell.
It's a good fucking spell.
So spell scrolls are one-time uses?
Spell scrolls are one-time uses. If you were a wizard or had some wizard levels, you could take some time and copy it into your spellbook. But you're not.
Oh, so what I'm hearing is multi-class.
Harry, if you took a certain warlock class, you could also do that. One of the warlock subclasses, the Pact of the Tome, can also do that too.
Might be past that. But anyway, yep.
That is
I'll
what
look
you
into
found.
it offline. Spell of
Guardian of Nature, which is a 4th level spell. I've copied it into the Roll20 chat, so you can just copy and paste it straight into your character sheet if you like.
I know you found it, but that spell would go fucking crazy on Threign.
Mm-hmm.
Shame Threign's not a spellcaster, but someone could cast it on him.
Oh,
is it a
he
self-type?
cast it from the scroll, can he?
I think you still have to be a spellcaster to cast spells from a scroll, from memory.
It's got a range of self though.
Yeah, damn.
I mean, just for future reference, Harry's gonna
That
go
looks
back to the
really
group
cool.
and show him what he's found, as opposed to like just pocket it and not tell anyone.
Well, I think that's a perfect spot as you all kind of reconvene back at the main area. Ember having located his.
Before we do,
yes.
Harry would like to ask Figment to analyze the map and see if he can see like an optimal route, being somewhat computerish and all.
Harry, at the next roundabout, turn left, and in 400 meters. No. Harry, I can see
We
here.
just turned left.
Harry, what you're showing me looks like a map, several maps of an area. Would you like me to try and create a version of it within the Hearthstone that you can access, showing your relative location based on various nearby structures?
Oh, that sounds really helpful. Yeah, I would like that a lot. Yeah.
Bring the maps with you. I will take some time to analyze and see if I can create at least a partial 3D render of the surrounding area. I can show this as an illusion above your Hearthstone.
Is it alright if we take these?
Yeah. If it's gonna make things easier for you lot and make sure you can get my friends back and my family back, fuck yeah, mate. Of course, take what you need.
Oh yeah, no. It doesn't matter what Gook says about you. I think you're all right. And Harry walks
hang on. What does Gook say? Hang on, Harry. What does Gook say about me? Harry.
He scampers down the building very quickly.
Fucking Drongo. As you all reconvene back at the lower section and share what you found and prepare for your journey into the Stoneforge halls, I think that is where we're going to wrap up for tonight. I think that is best spent with Ali with us as well. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. That is bang on time as well. We are all wrapped up for tonight. If you are joining us on the podcast, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you do the likes or the ratings or whatever thing it lets you do on the podcast. I know Spotify lets you leave a rating and do things like that. And for those people who had asked me a question on Spotify and I hadn't seen, I'm so sorry. Spotify didn't send me the email notification despite me asking it. And I'll be honest, I don't check the Spotify dashboard anywhere near as often as I should. So I know that there was one person who was waiting 3 months for me to answer a question. I'm so sorry. I will check it more often. And I do now have the email notification set up correctly. I did a quick check. It is now working properly. So I'm so sorry. I thought I'd done it correctly and it was looking like it was good. I think potentially I made a mistake somewhere in how I was setting up notifications. For those who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. if you want to help make sure the characters can find more spell scrolls of Guardian of Nature, there's only one way to do that, and that's to hit the like button, then the subscribe button, and then leave a comment specifying which spell scroll you want them to find next. It's literally that simple. If you put it into the YouTube comments, it's fed into my little random spell scroll table. Summon to Rask, not a spell scroll. But if you do put them in the comments, then it's fed into my little random table, and it'll come out next time the group roll that dice. For everyone watching on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We are going to go and raid one of our lovely friends of the channel tonight. That is going to be. Let's go raid. Oh, we did raid Dice Actors quite recently. They're our lovely friends from Germany. Doesn't look like any of our usual suspects are playing. So let's go and raid Fantasy Forged, who we have raided many times in the past. They are doing a Lord of the Rings themed D&D campaign. So we will go and raid them. I think we've joined them a few times for their Adventures in Middle-earth campaign. So let me load that up. But from all of us here tonight, thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, stay well, and we will see you all again very, very soon. But until then, farewell, everybody. Goodbye!
See you guys.
See ya!
Bye.